All right, good evening there, everyone. Hopefully everything is working the way it should be tonight. We'll see how well this plays out. Let's see here. What do I have going on here? Anything? Do I have my sound? Yes, I do. All right, so that's good. And here we go tonight with qualifying right now underway. Looking at Evan Gomet there as he comes around off of the corner. And that number 68 machine. Looking down there on the bottom side of your screen, you got them drivers trying to make some laps here. Sage Greco with a 30.541 as your best time right now. There's Ben Parson into number 33. He heads down through turn 3 and 4. There's Graham Connolly through 3 and 4. Greco with a 30.541. Gomet with a 30.589. Nick Tugger with a 30.687 here tonight at Kansas. Here for the Flicker Farm TV Gen 4 Cup Series. Brought to you by Freedom Motorsport Alliance. And if you're curious about joining or learning more about Freedom Motorsport Alliance, go ahead and check out that description here underneath the video, as we have it to many different things there for you to check out. End of the wall goes Connolly as he now skates it across through the infield. That'll be in no time for that lap. And as we see here, Bobby Watts down here in the corner number 1 as we're on board with him. Watts tries to find out, and now we're on board here with Donald Ray in at number 19. Down there through off of the corner. He's going to put down no time for the moment. Nelson there with a 31.183. Looking there at Brassington in the number 29. Watts does get a time in of 30.858. Ray looking to see if he can get a time in there. He's up there against that outside wall once again, coming there off of 3 and 4, back around onto the front stretch. He'll get a time in of 30.736. Wilkinson with a 30.499. To put himself on top of the leaderboard. Mark Nelson with 30.535. And see Ray there trying to get his time in. Matt Mars out on track in that mellow yellow machine. Down through here in the corner number 3 and 4. Back out here onto the corner, out here onto the front stretch. Down across the bottom, up there off top. Hit there 1 and 2 again. Mars with a 30.826 right now. He works up off the corner. There you see David Duncan there in the 18. Dan Brasington still out there on track. Donald Ray, as you're on board with him, coming down here in the corner number 1 and 2. Currently with a 30.736. He comes down the back stretch, trying to see if he can improve his time. Here for Donald Ray. No slow through section 1. And he'll bring it on the pit lane. Qualifying, 20 seconds to go, so qualifying, in a sense, has ended. So we can go ahead and stand for our, pay tribute to our flag. Let's go ahead and do that now.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem, the Star Spangled Banner.
All right, back here live at the racetrack. We got warm-ups going on. As you see, we got about 2.5 minutes of the 5 minutes left to go. Looking there, Justin Wilkinson. All right, come down through here, about another minute and a half, and then we'll be back. We'll be ready to go green flag racing here at Kansas. Not sure on how many laps as of yet. There we go, about 20 seconds left to go. They're heading out through here. So here we go. Grid is coming up. There we go. Starting there on pole tonight, it's going to be Justin Wilkinson with Mark Nelson there in second. Evan Gomet there third. Sage Greco fourth. And row number 3 there in fifth is going to start Chase Masker with Nick Tucker sixth. Ryan Peters in seventh. Donald Ray eighth. Ben Parson there in ninth. Matt Mars will roll off in 10th tonight. Dan Brassington will roll off at 11th. Bobby Watson 12th in 13th. That's going to be rolling off the number 50 of Robert Howard. And 14th, David Duncan. Graham Connolly rolls off in 15th. PJ Wentland there in 16th. And that is your starting grid here. 16 drivers taken to the grid. I don't know if PJ Wentland is out there in the number 3. They're at the back of the pack. Yeah, they head off here in the corner. Side by side, getting ready for that green flag. Here we go. Down here across the stripe, seeing who can get out there in front right now. That looks to be that we're looking at Justin Wilkinson down there on the inside at 99, getting a great start. Mark Dowson there in second. Evan Gomet there third. Sage Greco fourth. Nick Tucker is currently sitting there fifth with Chase Matsko sixth. Ryan Peters there in seventh. Donald Ray in eighth. Ben Parson ninth. Matt Mars there in 10th as they work here through turn 4 back out onto the front stretch. Down here across the stripe, down back into corner number 1. Evan Gomet there second. Nick Tucker there third. Mark Nelson fourth. Chase Matsko back here fifth. On board here with Chase Matsko here as we roll around off the corner. On board here with Dan Braslington now as he rolls down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Got the 50 there. Looking to the inside. There's the 19 Donald Ray. He's up there on, working there behind the 5 Ryan Peters. And you got Ben Parson there around there as well. There you see the 20 Chase Matsko, which should be the number 26. Sitting there in fifth. They're watching the battle go on there for 6 and 7. I'm sorry, no, 7 and 8, rather. Between Nelson and Ray. They got Ben Parson and the 50 of Howard going at it for 9th and 10th. Now it looks like that bottom lane of Ray and Nelson is moving up through. I'm sorry, not Ray and Nelson, it's Ray and Parson. You're on board there with Ryan Peters down here through turn 3 and 4, back out onto the front stretch. You see one of the drivers dipped down there below that line, trying to gain a little bit of time. Now you're looking there at Matt Mars there in the number 34. He's dropped back to 11 since the race started here 5 laps ago. 75 laps the distance here at Kansas. That will head down here in the corner number 3. You're looking at Matt Mars there. There's Ben Parson as well. Now Mars looks to the inside of Parson. Parson has the 50 there of Howard. Now Parson getting a run on the outside there of the 19, Donald Ray. The 50 of Howard gets a little loose coming there off of 4, coming back down here into corner number 1. Now they work off onto the back stretch. Howard now back here behind the 19 of Ray. Looking now to the inside. Ray's going to end up getting shoved to the outside there. Here comes Howard. Now they work down here off the corner. Gomet there out front as your leader. Getting around Wilkinson. Battle going on between 4th and 5th. There, if I saw, no, that's 2nd and 3rd, sorry. No, we do have battles going on up here at the front. And you got battles going on back here at the back as well. There comes Graham Connolly up through. He works there on the bottom side of the racetrack here at lap number 7. Down through the front straightaway. We got a battle for the lead between Wilkinson and Gomet once again as they work down here into corner number 1 and 2. Gomet down there on the bottom side. Wilkinson up on the top side. Wilkinson back to the lead, bringing Tucker with him. As Tucker now looks up there to the high side. And there does seem to be some speed up there towards the top side, but you definitely have to watch some walls coming off the corner. They work down here out of the corner down here in the 1 and 2. You got Wilkinson back out front. Nick Tucker now second with Gomet sitting third. Sage Greco fourth. Chase Matsko back here in 5th. Now they roll it off a 2, back onto the backstretch. We got drivers single filed out now. Not really seeing too much going on. Now we look to see if we've got any sort of Battle going on. Looks like we do between Nick Tucker and Gomet. As you see, Tucker up there on the outside in that one machine. Gomet working there to the inside. Come here off the corner. Well, like Nick Tucker has a little bit of a spec map issue on that car. I'm making out a 54 on there a little bit, and maybe something's not quite lining up. Now, Wilkins up front. There you see Nick Tucker there second. Evan Gomet there third. Sage Greco in fourth. Gomet back to the inside of Tucker, trying to get that to happen. As they work here off of 4 down through the front stretch. Here on lap number 11. Justin Wilkinson out there in front. Ben Parson back here in 7th now. Bringing by the Matt Mars. Ryan Peters back here in the 9th. Howard sitting in 10th. Everybody works off the corner. There you see the 68 of Gomet. Sage Greco there in 4th. Chase Matsko 5th. Off in the corner, number 3 and 4, back around here towards the front straightaway. Gomet right at the bumper of Tucker. Work here off the corner. Problems. That's the number 1 going around. Caution flag is out. Gomet going around. They're in the 68. Tucker in the number 1. As you see that whole line starting to zigzag. There they go around. You got the 17 there of Sage Greco involved as well. Drivers scatter all through the mess, trying to just not hit nothing. Sage Greco's involved. Down there on the bottom side. Gets the top there from Chase Matsko. Things just went awry here. As you see, Gomet down there on the inside. Tucker getting loose. Ends up coming down. They just come together there. Coming in at corner number 1. Everybody ends up sliding up. Back into the wall goes Sage Greco. Car parts everywhere. So debris on the racetrack. And we got them coming down there on the pit road. There you see the pit times up there at the top of your screen. Mark Nelson there in 2nd. Ryan Peters there 3rd. Robert Howard staying out as well. Matsko, Mars, Parson, Ray, all in pit road along with Wetland and Watt. Grassington, Gomet, Greco, Tucker, all in. Connolly showing out. They work on down here, down the back straightaway. Ryan Peters there in third. Here you got Robert Howard in fourth. Justin Wilkinson there and trying to work his way on through. And then Mark Nelson there in second, Howard there in fourth, Peters in third. The lights are out. We're going to be going back. Green flag racing. Thank you all for coming in and watching here at Fleeger Farm TV. Definitely appreciate all the views, likes, everything that you do to support us here. We got the green flag back in the air here. Barney drops that flag. Coming down here in the corner number one. Wilkinson getting a great restart. Nelson up there on the high side now. And we got Peters there in third. Matt Mars back here in fourth. They settle in here. Duncan down there to the inside in that number 18. Here comes Ben Parson. Now, if you watched Ben Parson last week, you know he had a couple seconds here at FMA. Had a second Sunday night in the Xfinity Series here with FMA. Monday night, he ended up coming out to Roughneck with us at Fleeger Farm TV. And got himself a win there in that series. And now he's sitting here battling in a fifth tonight. They roll these 10-4 car up there. There goes the 18 up in the end, outside wall. Get picked up, around he goes. That'll bring out caution number 2 as David Duncan goes around. And I'm pretty sure somebody else was involved. I'm not sure who, but I'm pretty sure somebody else got into it as he's up there against the top side of the racetrack. Okay, I'm wrong. Nobody got in. Well, he definitely had the back bumper sliding around. I'm not sure who. Bobby Watts in the number 37. Not sure if there's any damage to that machine, but yeah, Bobby Watts ended up there towards it. Doesn't look too terrible there for Bobby. But we're kind of short track racing it tonight here at Kansas. Our race info here. Your track length, 1.5 mile. Track temperature tonight is 115 degrees. 72 degrees for an ambient temperature, 45% humidity, partly cloudy with 2-mile-an-hour winds. These drivers are going around here trying to make sure that they got everything situated. As you see, Duncan in the pits, going to try to get everything fixed up. Now Ryan Peters as your leader, Matt Mars. Try to see if we had anybody else. We do have other takers coming in the pit lane. Yeah, we're about a third of the way through the race. Working on down here through corner number 3 and 4, getting ready for the restart. Peters all set, ready to go. Mars there in second in that mellow yellow Afterglow machine. Here at lap number 23, beat lap 24 as they come across the line. They are down and away. What a start there from the front of the pack. Almost caught some of them sleeping here as they come across the line down here in the corner number 1. Looking there at PJ Wentland up there in the 6th. He was there at the back of the pack tonight. Ends up down here off of turn number 2. Down through the back straightaway here in the corner number 3 and 4. Justin Wilkinson down there on the inside in that number 99, trying to get his way back up there towards the front. Work down here in through the front straightaway. Wetland down there on the inside now. There you see the 99 there of Wilkinson. And in front of them, battles raging on. You see Matt Mars is falling back into about 4th position now. He's up there on the top lane, where the drivers seem to be having a little bit better issue down there on the inside. You see that 37 there, just in front of Wilkinson. We're running that bottom lane. That's the 37 of Bobby Watts. Watts dips it down there on the apron, through the apex there, through the front stretch. Down here in the corner number 1. Ben Parson out front here now. He's leading the race here, a third of the way through. Duncan back on pit lane. Greco sitting here, staying out, and looks to be as well. Same with Nick Tucker. So Tucker, Greco, and Connolly all out of the race. David Duncan on pit road. You got Mark Nelson in back here, rounding out your field in 12. As it stands right now, there we go. Duncan sitting on pit road still. Coming here off of corner number 2 down that back straightaway. Ben Parson, your leader. Donald Ray there second. Here comes Matt Barr. Here you're looking at the 37 of Bobby Watts, looking to the outside there. Ryan Peters. Peters down there on the inside. Howard back there in that 50. As you saw it sway a little bit. Hey, driver ended up going through turn 1 and 2. Glasgow falls back to about 10. Now I've noticed with Nelson and Matsko both, they both have tracks where they struggle with. And other nights, they are very, very strong competitors here in FMA. So it's always interesting to see the nights where they might struggle a tad whenever they are normally up there at the front running. Down here through turn 1 and 2. Looking there at Howard as he's up there in 7th. Wetland up there in 6th. He falls back to 7th as Howard gets around him. Gourmet in at 68. He's trying to get his way up through there. He's working there to the inside of Bobby Watts. Work down through there. 2nd place there of Donald Ray. And Matt Marr is battling it out there. Parson way up there against that outside wall. They work down here into corner number 3 and 4. You got the 19 of Donald Ray there in 3rd place. Off the corner, Matt Mars sitting 2nd here at lap number 30. Of the 75 to complete here tonight. Rolling down here in the corner number 1. Only 2 cautions on the night, which has been a great, great race so far. These guys are really tight. There you see the 19 of Ray going down there along the bottom side, trying to get underneath of Matt Mars. His driver battled it out through 3 and 4. Parson, as we said, had a win in a roughneck. I was looking for a win here in the Freedom Motorsport Alliance as he works off of the tri-oval down here in the corner number 1 again, leading the race here. I see Howard trying to work his way still up there through the pack. Gomet as well in at 68. He looks to the inside there of Howard. Not quite there as Howard dives it down and he gets underneath of Ray. Up there up for it. Now Ray's going to battle back on the outside. And they work down here through the tribal. There comes Howard down there on the inside. Howard getting a great run. Pushed along there by Gomet. Gomet trying to get down there and keep that door open, which he does. Up here off of corner number 2, Gomet head of steam. He's going to try to make it 2 for 1. And he gets around 1 there. He's looking to see if he can get around getting around Howard next. And that is Gomet there in that 68. Parson falling back here. And Matt Mars and Wilkinson getting around him. As they work down there through the tribal down here in the corner number 1. Mars falls up the racetrack. Trying to get it back in line. Can't quite get there. The 99. Wilkinson's there. Parson hanging on, though. There to second right now. As you're looking there at the 19 of Donald Ray down here in the corner number 3 and 4. Greco out, Tucker out, Connolly out. Those 3 drivers at the tail end of the scoreboard are out. We got 13 drivers still on the racetrack in certain areas. David Duncan in pits. They work here off a turn 2. Back straight away. Wilkinson trying to get back up there to the lead. Parson trying just to bide his time here. Up there towards the front. Making a race for himself pretty much. Doesn't want to race too hard. There's still over half a race to go. Slowly closing into it. Wetland off track though in that number 3. Falls clear back into 12. And work here off of turn number 2. Unsure what happened there. We'll take a quick look at it. Yeah, it looks like it just kind of got loose down there onto the infield. Here we go. Matt Mars up there in 3rd. Evan Gomet there for him. Robert Howard 5th. Donald Ray 6th. Chase Matsko there in 6th now. Donald Ray gets around him. Chase Matsko gets around Donald Ray. Chase Matsko really trying to get that number 20 up there towards the front. As you see, there comes Ray on the inside. Here comes the 86 of Nelson as well. They work on down here out of the tribal into corner number 1 once again. Here at lap number 38 of 75. Halfway through the race as they work here through the backstretch. Howard diving down there, had to try to collect it. They almost go 3 wide with Chase on the outside. They don't do it. 2 wide there with Nelson up there on the top side. Nelson trying to hang on to it. He got a little loose coming there out of 4. Down here in the corner number 1 once again. The 19 there of Donald Ray up there towards the high side of the racetrack. Chase Matsko rolling the bottom. Right behind Chase Matsko is Matt Mars as he's battling there with Ray for that 5th position. Chase Matsko sitting there in 4th. Evan Gomet there 3rd. So now they're starting to come alive here a little bit where I'm seeing Chase Matsko get back up here towards the front of the pack. As we said, we normally see him at the front of the pack, so it kind of struck me odd whenever he wasn't. And down here through turn 3 and 4, back out onto the, 1 and 2, back out onto the backstretch. Justin Wilkinson out there, captain there in 2nd, Gomet there 3rd, Matsko there 4th, with Ray in 5th. Now that's about how they stand right now as they roll around here. There you're seeing Howard and Nelson try to battle it out. Nelson trying to gain a spot, Howard trying to hold on to it. As Nelson gets underneath them. Down here in the corner number 1. Here comes Donald Ray trying to put a move on Chase Matsko. Matt Mars hanging in there as well. Down here off the corner, they go. Down across the stripe. Lap 42 of 75. Work down here in through 1 and 2, down that back straightaway. Wilkinson there out front, Carson there second. Gomet there third, Donald Ray there fourth. Kate Matsko fifth, Matt Mars there sixth. They're doing everything they can to hang on to what they have. As Nelson looks to the bottom side of Mars. Mars falling back here now into about 7th. As Gomet's gaining on Carson. And they bring it down here out of the corner. As Gomet runs down here into the corner underneath there on the bottom side. Everybody's single filed out here right now. Mars and Howard, your only battle really taking place. Brian Peters on pit road. Bobby Watts on pit road. Here with 30 laps to go. Mark Nelson, 5th, Kate Matsko, 6th. Head on out here through off of corner number 3. Oh, I'm sorry, off of 2, back down the back stretch. Watt heading off of pit road. Peters, Watts, all are a lap down now as they pitted. I see that Jake Matsko hanging it out there, trying just to hold on to that car underneath him. I see Mars there in 7th. Howard there in 8th. Head on down through here. Lap 48 of 75 on the board. We got Wilkinson out there in front. Carson there in 2nd. Gomet there 3rd. Now, question that I have for Carson is, can he pull the strategy game out to possibly try to leapfrog ahead for a few laps? Or kind of what will go on here as Gomet gets to the inside. Carson falls back to 3rd. Donald Ray's back here in 4th. And at number 29. .26 laps to go. Howard's on pit road now. As Wilkinson still leads the race. Carson out there in 2nd. Gomet 3rd. 24 laps to go for Wilkinson as he's out front. Howard and Duncan still in the pits. They are now lapped down. Wetland in the pit. Hey, driver work here off the corner. Everybody doing everything they can. There you see Chase Matsko there in 6th. Hang on to it, Gomet, as Gomet gets loose coming through the tri-oval. Down there in the corner number 1, side by side there with the number 19 of Donald Ray. Evan Gomet there in 4th. Bring it on down out of the corner. 23 laps to go for Wilkinson. Let's go ahead and get that track map up as you see Gomet come in. Chase Matsko bowls up here in the 5th. Donald Ray has already made 2 stops, his last stop being at lap 17. Chase Matsko's made 2 stops, last one being at lap 21. We got 22 laps to go. This is going to get interesting, I think. We've got a couple different pit strategies taking place. Who's going to be able to make it to the end? That's the biggest question. As see, there's Wetland back here in that 3. He is a lap down. Cars coming off pit road. There you see Wilkinson. There comes Ray, Nelson. Parson ended up on pit road, changing everything. Here comes the leaders coming down across the line. That'll put Parson a lap down. Parson last pitted, not sure. Brasington, this is his 3rd time in the pit. We see Peters coming there, coming around. Parson ends up behind Peters. As top 4, Wilkinson, Ray, Nelson, and Matsko have not pitted yet. Here with 19 laps to go. I don't see them being able to make it on their fuel. I'd be very surprised if they did. Wilkinson just trying to put as much distance between him and the pack as he can. Brasington back in the pit. He works off. We got 4 cars on the lead lap as it stands right now, as these pit stops cycle through. 18 laps to go. Chase Matsko back here in 4th. Where is everybody else at? Let's take a look. Here's your track map. That's how it plays out right at this moment in time. So they are scattered all over the racetrack. Bobby Watts and Matt Mars running together here. As Matt Mars looks to the inside, getting around Bobby Watts. That is for position. Next battle I'm taking a look at there is around the number 19. Donald Ray, that is Mark Nelson there behind him. Then you got 99, who has the lap machine of Whitman there with him. $16 laps to go. On board with Donald Ray. Donald Ray doing everything he can to possibly make it. I don't know if it'll be enough. You see Donald Ray coming there in 2nd. Mark Nelson there 3rd. And Nelson stays in it. As we're on board here with Donald Ray. Donald Ray pushes that clutch in. Trying to save that fuel. Matsko also using that clutch a little bit. Work down the back stretch. There you see, here comes Ryan Peters. Hey, drivers out front, they gotta try to make it happen. Now, Ryan Peters has a great run going here. Does he have the strategy? That's what we're trying to find out. Trying to figure out here. Does Peters have that pit strategy figured out enough for him to make it there to the end? In the lead, but that all depends on what these front four drivers do. Are they going to make it on fuel? Evan Lumet out here in fifth. As you're on board with him down here in the corner number 1. He's also working to try to unlap himself. There we see Donald Ray, and the last time these drivers pitted was on lap 21. Unless you're Donald Ray, it was lap 17. I just don't know. I don't know if they have enough to fully make it. As you see coming around Donald Ray, that's the 5 of Peters. Beaumet coming up here working on Nelson. Nelson's going to let him on by. No need of really fighting him. He is a lap down and a little faster right at the moment. As they work down here out of corner number 3 and 4, back around here onto the front stretch, down towards turn 1 and 2. Beaumet sitting there currently 5th. Only a lap down to Justin Wilkinson at the moment. But that could change here as they roll through down that back straightaway. Nobody's coming in from the top 4 as of yet that we have seen. As they work here off of turn number 3 and 4. Donald Ray down there on the bottom side, going to stay out once again. Nelson staying out. Wilkinson there in front. Matsko there fourth. Hey, drivers really putting on that show here. 8 laps to go here at Kansas. Down here across in the corner number 1. Hold on, here comes Wilkinson. He's coming in. He's going to give up that lead. And Wilkinson's going to bring it in. Nelson's going to assume the lead. Donald Ray there in second. Chase Matsko, he'll stay out. 7 laps to go.
sorry about that. Doing good. How are you? Man, I just wish I'd have started saving fuel sooner. I started saving fuel way too late, and Mark, I guess, started saving fuel from the start. So, congrats to him. Good job. I mean, it was tight. I still ran out coming into three, or right before I come into three, there on the last lap. So I ended up losing another spot there to Chase. But he was on the same strategy, and he saved a little bit better than I did too. So, congrats to them boys. Yeah, it was way too tight. But I honestly didn't think from the beginning that it was actually going to matter. I didn't think there was no way that anybody could save enough fuel. And then I started seeing that I was only 5 laps short, and then 4, and then 3. And I was like, hey, the heck with it. I'm just going to give it a try. And almost pulled off a better finish there. But we'll take a P3 any day of the week. Oh yeah, it is. There's definitely a lot of fast guys. I mean, you just pick a name, and just about every one of them compete every week, and to get a podium a lot ahead of those guys is definitely a good night. I just want to thank you, buddy, for putting together these broadcasts every week and doing a great job at it. And thanks for Chase and Graham and the rest of the admins for doing a good job of keeping this series put together, keeping it straight, keeping good people in here, and keeping bad people out. Thanks, buddy.
Pancake!
I'm all right. How about you? Yeah, I did. I ran. I ran out across the line. Yeah, he saved better than all of us. Donald ran out in the backstretch, so I got around him for second. But I'll take that for sure. Yeah, yeah. I think that's the first time we've ever had a fuel saving race here. That was pretty crazy. No, well, I just worked out with how that last caution came out, what lap it was on. So I knew when I came out, I was about 2 laps short. So I was like, I could probably do it. So I tried it, and it worked. Yeah, it was real close, man. Real close. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun though. It was interesting because we don't do that ever. So I'm not very experienced in doing it, but obviously I knew enough to do it. So just letting off fall out of clutch. Yeah. It's just what happened with the caution when I pitted because I had to pit it again for damage. So when I pitted in the second time, I just took fuel and it worked out for that way for me. So I got it. Yeah, we would have had a pit for sure. But we would have been on new tires, so it would have been interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you got to bring out the best paint of all time, you know? I do it for you, man. No. His old Pontiacs do. I love his rookie season one, but all like just the white and the orange. That one looks real good. Don't you disrespect my car like that for putting DeWalt in there. The cat car, I'll give you. The cat cars look good. Just FMA, Regal Wraps, FFTV, Home Depot. That's about it. Yeah, hopefully it goes well. Ovals are hit or miss with me, so. Oh, I felt good for a while. I was in the front pack in the first run, and then I got damaged with my head hitting the back of Sage, and it was just car got real tight after that. Yeah, fuel saving, man, and it worked out. For sure, for sure. All right, you too, man.
Hey, Adam. You know, I had about another half of a lap to go, so yes is the answer. Well, yeah, I ran out on the back stretch, and so I was coming around and I was just going to stop on the start finish line, but I had a lot of momentum and hit the brakes, and it kind of put me where I am right now. I'm like, all right, I guess that'll work. Well, Adam, the second I left my pit stall, I started saving. I had a pretty good idea based on what the fuel mileage was and how many laps we had left that I was close enough to try. I was only about half of a lap short when we went green on that last caution. After that last caution, I was in fourth gear and neutral the entire time during caution, and then there was a few laps where I was clutching just to give myself another quarter lap, half lap more. But for the most part, I was really not saving that much. I mean, I was lifting into the corners a little bit earlier than maybe I would have, but I wasn't doing anything crazy. So if you just saved gas on the caution there, you were pretty close. Just thanks everybody that watches this, and if they're supporting me and the supporting you. Thanks, Adam, for your work on this league and your broadcasting, and thanks to my wife for her support. It was hard being in dirty air. I'll give it that. Like, my car performed very differently when I was in dirty air, and I was honestly a little bit worried that I was doing damage to my tires because it was behaving really strangely back there. I wouldn't say that I was going all out, but I was definitely struggling. My car wasn't doing what I was wanting it to do. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it made a huge difference here. I haven't. This is the most I've noticed in these cars here. Well, I actually am going to be leaving the country this weekend and will not be around at all next week. So you will have to carry on without me. I think that I have enough to clinch, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll let the admins figure that out. I hope so too. Thanks, Adam. You too.